Just the other day, I made a video talking about the latest news, leaks, and clips that were floating around about Miraculous Ladybug Season 6. I figured until the season was supposed to drop later on this January, that I wouldn't really have all that much to talk about for a little while. After all, what other news could there be? Surely there'd be nothing else to discuss. How wrong I was, right? Because just recently we got a few new pieces of news and a fresh trailer for the season from Disney. And so here I am, relentlessly milking it for all it's worth, because that's the type of person that I am. I don't think you can really blame me for that one either. We'll start with some release dates, shall we? We have the proper official international release dates for the first 5 episodes of Miraculous Season 6. We have Illustrator. Now that is a mouthful. On January 25th. We follow that up with Sublimation on the 1st of February. Then we have Daddy Cop on the 8th. Where Papa's on the 15th. And then finally we have Climatic-Queen on the 25th. As far as that goes, it all seems all good, right? 5 episodes released in a pretty succinct manner. Almost a fifth of the season finished up just like that. For a brief moment, I was very deeply hyped. Then I took a quick look at the episode order. My hype rapidly turned to annoyance. They're airing these episodes in perfect order, except for one thing. One teensy tiny little thing. Want to guess what it is? Why, it's a Miraculous classic. They're airing it so that you get episode 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, and then 1. So you get dropped in, with no context, into episode 2. Miraculous has started to do branching stories that drift across episodes, so that's already annoying, because we're missing out on some context. But the end of Season 5 and the London special have so many questions that need answering, that it feels so cheap not to get that immediate follow-up episode leading off it, and jumping in at episode 2. Really, there's no excuse for it, it's just dumb. And it's not like it's multiple companies competing for release dates or anything like that, it's just Disney. Kind of feel sorry for the creators here, because this would be annoying, I think. I know we often default into pointing the blame at the actual makers of the show, but this time it doesn't feel like it's remotely their fault, right? Disney clearly has the episodes you'd expect, it ended up like this. Oh well, I'm sure when all's said and done, we won't remember or care, but for now, I'm pretty salty, not gonna lie. This is the biggest film and TV company in the world, and they can't even get the basic order of episodes correct? Bob Iger, I'm shaking my head at you. I tell you what, I hope they don't keep pulling stuff like this throughout the rest of the season. If we're being perfectly honest, I could probably live with the idea of some of the middle episodes getting mixed up, but if they bungle any of the 2-parter episodes, it's gonna be so annoying. Or hell, imagine if they managed to do it for the finale. That would cause a bit of a stir in the fandom, wouldn't it? Seriously though, can anybody explain to me why this keeps happening over and over again? How does the order just not matter? This feels like a deliberate choice, but why? Why? Does anybody have any ideas at all? When you think about it, it actually is kind of funny, but at the same time it's just very confusing. Let's not get all doom and gloom up here on the channel, as there are positive things to talk about as well. We got a fresh trailer for Season 6 just the other day, and I figured we could have a look at that right now, see what we've got coming up. Okay, just for starters, this trailer is pretty damn good. Just in how it's been put together, this trailer gets you hyped. Do you guys remember the old days where the official trailers, the actual official trailers, were legitimately just episode clips with music playing over the top of them with no audio at all? We've come a long way since those days. Also, the new animation's looking great. I know people have that nostalgia for the older style, but it was very clearly aging the show, and I think the further along you go, the less acceptable that is. Already you look back on the early seasons and the animation is truly whack at times. This was a much needed upgrade, even if there's going to be growing pains with character designs and whatnot. Now we have a new design for a new era, and I think it's going to work well. Watch me get flamed in the comments for this one. I've seen so much annoyance on social media about the new style, particularly for Adrian. What can I say? It's growing on me, and I think by the end of the season, it's not going to be on anybody's radar at all anymore. By that point, we'll probably have decided whether or not the new story direction's any good or not, and that'll be dominating all conversations. But now we come to the story beats. Okay, so we start off the trailer with a look at Ladybug in an action pose. I'm liking her new suit. I was always a big fan of the post-Lucky Charm suit upgrade that she got in the later stages of the first arc. So them moving more in that direction, it can only be a good thing for me. I'm sure there are some classic suit defenders out there, but I think the newer design's just way better. We then get our first look at one of the akumatized villains of the season. We've already seen the mum character from, was it Sublimation? The runner girl's called Sublime, right?
Sublime!
Anyway, I'm also running under the assumption that these clips are only from the announced episodes, so the first 5. I could be wrong in that assumption, but it's what I'm going to go with for this video. This person shouts out that it's time for the main event, so it's like a fight announcement from boxing and MMA, that kind of thing. So you can scratch out Illustrator, because it doesn't really fit with that theme. Neither does Daddy Cop, and I think Where Papa's doesn't fit with that either. So this has to be Climatic-Queen, right? who I originally thought was going to be some sort of weather character, like Climate Queen. But in this context, maybe it's like a climactic moment, building to the climax of an event, like the main event. I don't know, it's the best I got. We then have a look at Cosmobug. Ooh, shiny neon hair. I'll be honest, I never really cared much for this design originally. I still don't care for it now. I think Astro Cat is just the far superior costume. I think it's that I don't like that her hair remains out. I think turning it into a ladybug helmet would have been much more fun. Maybe that would have looked silly and gimmicky, but I don't know, I kind of like that idea. We then have a shot of Marinette just casually leaping over a table, action movie style with one arm. Don't mind me. Only takes me 5 minutes to get out of bed with a sore neck, sore back, and feet that ache for a few moments when I start walking. I'm not even old. We then take a look at Marinette stepping in to protect Sublime, I think her name was. Once again, I just can't help but laugh at that stupid ass name. But yeah, she's there to protect Sublime and I guess her dad in the sports stadium when the mum gets akumatized in the previous trailer we saw. We get a look at the controversial new design for Cat Noir that a lot of people have an issue with, claiming he looks too childish or too feminine, depending on who you're asking. I guess I sort of get where they're coming from, and when I look at him closely, I'm thinking a lot of this has to do with the shape of his mouth. But at the same time, I don't particularly mind his design. I think that sort of look actually fits the type of character they've been trying to showcase him as. On top of that, I really like his suit design and how it's gotten a little bit more detailed than just being a rubbery black bodysuit. Also, did they change the colour of his power pole? In the next shot of him and Ladybug doing some action poses, he uses it to launch himself and the staff itself looks black. It used to be silver, right? Not sure I like that change as much to tell you the truth. I think it looks better when it's a lighter colour because it contrasts with his suit. Here it just feels a bit samey, and that's a shame. Maybe it's just a weird shot. Now we're going to break up the trailer a little bit into sections as it keeps cutting back and forth between episodes. One of the episodes we're clearly seeing is Illustrator, which will involve Ladybug, Cat Noir, Rena Rouge, and Carapace. So already here we're getting a taste of what the future of the franchise is going to be like. More team-ups, more character combinations, and we're starting early with episode 2 having that first big team-up with the core 4 before it moves into other characters. I must say I'm rather excited by this episode in particular. Looks like the villain's going to be that little creepy jester-looking character. Looks like it might be a kid. Ugh, watch it be Manon. I really love when the show uses different animation and art styles within the episodes, as we see here. I just think it works so well as a visual contrast and really helps to set the episode apart from the pack. Honestly, I suspect that this episode in particular is going to be a mostly by-the-numbers, monster of the week type of episode. It's just episode 2. And you're going to be getting back into the swing of things and want to see how the new dynamics are going to play out. I have no problem with low-stakes, self-contained episodes, as long as not every single episode is like that. There's a lot of really cool action on display here, and I gotta say that Rena and Carapace are looking real good. The next episode I could see, I assume, was Daddy Cop. One of the big elements of this trailer is Ladybug handing over the dog Miraculous to Sabrina, and telling her that she's a good person. I think that perhaps part of the episode is going to be Sabrina thinking that she isn't worthy of being a hero because she was Chloe's lackey for so long, and how that going along with her made her a bad person. Honestly, kind of true though, right? Looking back, and especially with the pool prank retcon, Chloe is a horrific person all around. Sabrina did go along with it and often laughed and picked on others too. At best, she's weak-willed. At worst, she was nearly as bad for being party to all of that bullying. Marinette is a font of forgiveness, it seems. Couldn't be me. Anyway, the villain flying on his car is surely Daddy Cop, and it makes sense for her to be involved in this episode because her dad's the villain. Seems like Max is also going to be getting the call for this one. And I know that his designs cop some flack too, but I think it looks really cool. And this is among the best disguises of all time. Even without quantum masking. Who the hell would ever think that this is Max? Max, the notable and famous nerd. No chance. Look at that power stance. Max the Chad. We also see later on what I assume is Daddy Cop battling Astro Cat. Guessing this guy's going too fast for even the flight suit heroes, and so that's why they call in some help, like teleporting. Just a thought. We then hear Lila's villain voice, which is suitably intimidating and evil sounding, and also we see some battle with Ladybug and Sublimation, as well as that scene from the previous trailer where Marinette transforms when Tiki isn't ready, or she thinks she should stop and think. All in all, I'm really excited about this trailer. Yeah, episode's out of order, but I've calmed down now. I'm really hyped. Disney knows how to make a trailer. You can't take that away from them. And so really, I think this is the most excited I've been for a season release in years. So with all that being said, I think I'll call the video here and remind you that these have all been my opinions, and now I'd like to hear yours. What did you think of the trailer and the release dates? Do you agree with what I've had to say, or is there something you want to add? I'm curious for your thoughts, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know.